Okay. Whew. So yeah. So in a murdering gladiator culture that turns the gracious good shepherd into a magic god who pays for all their murdering gladiator culture addiction. Um, uh, if time is money, then when technology becomes more, you know, in control of our lives, even more so than now, yeah. Well, because the technology is technically not in control. People manipulating the technology are in control, are perceived to be in control. They're not in control. But when technology starts to take control of our lives, then you have nothing to worry about. You know, if time is money and murdering gladiator culture is needs Jesus to be murdered to pay for all their murdering brain chemical addiction, right? But if time isn't money, then Jesus isn't going to pay for your sins, right? You're going to pay for your own sins. He was most likely then trying to teach you not to sin, right? Don't celebrate your imperfections. Celebrate your perfections. I'm mature. I have faith in God. I respect life. I appreciate life. I understand how to maintain balance, harmony, and understanding with life. When I make sacrifices to maintain the environment so they don't get out of whack, so we don't get hit by a big asteroid or get sick or, have diseases from things, so, or, and don't let predatory animals try to hunt me down and kill me, and don't go around doing irrational things with predatory animals that can kill me to impress people for money, because time is money, right? Then, all you science people got nothing to worry about. You're just as, you're going to save us from the wacko religious people, right? You're so full of sarcasm. I know. Watching the Big Bang Theory out the corner of my eye. Well, I watched the game and it got a little close, and then Montana blew it up. And then I can't find it. It's probably on ESPN Plus. I'll have to wait and see who wins between Illinois State and Davis. But at halftime, Illinois State was up by 3. So we'll see what happens on that. So it could be the two underdogs vying to play who sees to go play the winner of the Montana State game. We're the two overdogs, right? The two overdogs against the underdogs. And okay, it looks like they already, when they played a couple weeks ago, Montana State beat them in Missoula, not Bozeman. Okay. So now they got to go play them in Bozeman to see who goes to the national championship in Frisco, Texas. Right. And that'll be kind of a summer vacation for all the people in Montana at the games. If they have the make-believe money to make the long trek from Montana to Texas. Yeah. Well, because it's going to be like maybe in the 40s or the 30s in Frisco, Texas. That's like a balmy summer day in Montana this time of year. Whoa, like with Dave when we had the Alaskan cold fronts come through, and the next day it got up to about 32 degrees, and I'm right around in my slurp sleeve slurp going, we're having a heat wave, a tropical heat wave. Like it feels like that. Yeah, when it's 30 below wind chill, it does feel that way. Well, because you go from 30 below wind chill to 32 degrees. That's a 60-degree change. When it's still and it's 32 and you're walking around going, wow, I'm hot. I mean, I'm not hot like that, but I'm like warm. I mean, like, that was funny. But yeah, I was like, man, Peterson was right. I think with our genetics, me and Dave, and stuff, that we're predisposed to be able to acclimate to that kind of stuff once it's, 30 and 40, when it gets really butt cold and you're inside with the fire going, oh, fuck, it's fucking freezing here. I hate it. It's really cold. Yeah, it's very cold. And we got sick and had to take antibiotics and stuff, but we did live right on caffeine. And that made it hard because that's, trough where all the main traffic is. If we'd been able to stay in Bighorn, but that made it hard, hard for driving, more dangerous and stuff for Amy doing her thing if we'd lived in Bighorn. And she's not as good a driver as I am. So, and she had to do most of the driving stuff because I got the job at NSI. And, but, man. Yeah. Well, no, I'm just basically, no, Val. Yeah, Val will tell you, no, Earl's, I was a good driver. And, when the accidents in Arizona, the police wrote down on the report, that Mr. Parsons did a good job of making the accident not be, cause critical or even possibly fatal injuries. Yeah, when people pulled in front of me and stuff. And so, yeah, the cops can be very cool when they see right and wrong and whatnot, and they write it down and they explain, this person's actions did this. And so I was like, wow, well, that's nice. Show that to my, the one was a pain. And one of my buddies was a cop when the one guy, and they were, he was a legal immigrant. When I got in a car accident and it was my fault, he didn't have any, his brake lights weren't working. And he stopped short because he was talking to the person next to him, and I heard brakes hit, and I thought somebody was coming from behind, so I looked in my rearview mirror to see if we were going to get hit, and then I hit him. And then my buddy, who was a cop in Seattle for like 20 years ago, this is Jack, who worked at Southwest Airlines, he goes, you should have asked them to pull the, I didn't think about that. They're supposed to. Did you tell them? Yeah, I told them I didn't see any brake lights, and I told them exactly what happened, but the police didn't do it. He goes, the guy didn't do his job right. He should have pulled the brake lights for evidence. Maybe the cop was Mexican, didn't want to get the other guy in trouble. I wasn't paying attention. Didn't bother me. Didn't think about it, I've had lots of times, like the one time when at Christown with me-in-law got pulled over. It was hot as hell. We were in her mom's car, and it was green. It was the same make and model, and it was a black male with a white female that robbed something. We had the same make and model car, but ours was green and theirs was gold, right? And so we were sitting there listening to it on the radio. And they kept verifying and asking. I was like, okay, well, we can go now since we're a white guy with a black girl and same make and model car, but ours is green and not gold. And I had, well, maybe and they're thinking, okay, so we painted it real quick and we pretended for the male to be this. Okay, that's like, in-law was all, Earl, shut up. I'm like, because I was getting mad at the cop. I was like, because it was like 100, it was hot as hell. And they had us sitting in that car that has no air conditioning, just sitting there. And I was like, this is, you have her information. This is her mom's car. You have that. You let all the stuff, so you know where to find us. So let us go. And they kept us there for a long time and be real shitty about it. Yeah. And I was like, God, what assholes. When you give people delusions of power and authority, yeah, they can be real assholes. Real fucking assholes. You ever been in the military? You ever gone to the White House to get your presidential knee pads? Just kidding. They can be real fucking assholes, yeah. I think it affects everybody. I think it even affected the Kennedys. I think it affects anybody and everybody. When there's that kind of stupid, like, when David took the census in the Bible and in prayer, but he said, what the fuck are you doing, David? You're acting like a Philistine and an Egyptian. What? Dude, just teach people how to, do worship faithfully like Job and Jonah and Abraham and stuff. And then the rest will take care of itself. You don't need to know how many, quote, people you have. Okay. And so that's, you're acting like the people that are abusing you, and you're having, like with me, brain damage. What does it matter? Brain damage. When I get stressed about things, and they work on me constantly with that. Jesus and Suzuki. Jesus is more like me. I actually prefer working with Suzuki on this because he's very calm. He's just so totally calm. Jesus gets emotional and then starts yelling and cussing. They're fucking assholes, Earl. They do this. Jesus, you're mad. Well, yes, because they believe in me, but they'll kill over money. And he gets really upset. And Suzuki's upset, but he realizes, okay, be calm. And then he just asked me, are you okay? Yeah. And then he asked me why I'm doing something. And he's pretty much, yeah, I understand. And that's what I was thinking. I don't want to badger you. I just wanted to see if you're okay. Yeah, I'm okay. Okay. Well, that's all that matters then, that you're good. That you understand what's happening. I was worried about being murdered by the military and stuff. And I tell them that it feels like it, but I'm not worried about it. If that's the way, they want their quantum computing and their artificial general intelligence to perceive them, that's what they'll do, They have these perverts that turn the spirit of a man like me into a god and then ask him questions about right and wrong, ignore the answers, and then abuse him for giving him the right answer. Well, that's pretty fucked up. Isn't it though? Okay. So yeah, it really sucks. It's horrible. It's disgusting. It's very vile. Yeah. Which is one of the things that's been, really, it's been hurtful because I really, I think after so many years, and the kids are old enough and they still don't call you and they treat you like the rest of the family does, who you really don't want to talk to that much because they treat you like shit and you can't talk about what you want to talk about or we need to talk about because they don't want to talk about it. You're like, okay, but if we don't talk about it, we don't do it. So let's live the Lord's Prayer. You don't have to. Jesus did it for you. Fuck. Okay, so, hear that, Jesus? They're going to shit all over their baby, and you're going to come and clean up their baby and make sure that it's all brand new and healthy. But instead, they're going to sit there and say, hey, there's petroleum products in the food that we have held hostage. But because, so we keep corporations rich, we're going to put that shit into the baby. It's going to cause heart disease and cancer, but Jesus will pay for it, and he'll make him a magic new baby in the sky. Yeah, these fuckers are insane. Suzuki, help. I am helping. Okay, thank you. Keep them calm and let them know, Earl. Okay, there you go. And so Earl, and then people, he's schizophrenic. He has these voices in his head. If all of you had the same voices in your head that I have in my head, we'd all be living the Lord's Prayer, and your children wouldn't be murdered by corporate corruption. It wouldn't be trying to be successful to be involved in it. So it would be real. Wouldn't it be nice if you had Jesus and Suzuki helping you get through this mind fuck? Then we wouldn't all be murdering fuckers, and we wouldn't have to take drugs to survive the fight for the fuck with the buck. You know that you're really fucking crazy because you're selfish and your brains are lazy and you're Daisy Head Maisie. Cease and desist. Don't make money off of my stupidity. I don't want to. That's what I'm talking about. Wouldn't it be nice if you could live the Lord's Prayer and stop being an asshole and be a decent person too? Then there wouldn't be another commercial sitting there. Is that Macaulay Culkin? It is. And they're talking about philanthropy too. Home instead? It's not home. No. Home is where you're faithfully loved by people that are faithful. Okay. Wouldn't it be nice if your philanthropy died yesterday and we were living the Lord's Prayer today? Then we wouldn't have to watch your shit on TV, selling drugs for people to survive the hell that you invent and say you create. Look, it's a CGI dinosaur, like your voices on your commercials, you whores. Wouldn't it be nice? No more Dupixent. No more Big Tarvy, no more nada, no more Michelob, no more Dos Equis, no more nada. If you want to take some hops and shit and make yak piss out of it, you and your buddies knock yourself out, and then if you want to get drunk because you can't fuck the girl down the street because she doesn't accept money to fuck anymore, yeah, no. When Joseph was You take a whiskey drink, you'll take a lager drink. You'll take a soda drink, you'll take a vodka drink. You'll sing the songs that remind you of the good times. You sing the songs that remind you of the better times. Don't cry for me, next door neighbor. Well, he adores the girl next door because he's dying to get at her. And he's oh so good, and he's oh so fine, and he's oh so healthy in his body and his mind. He likes to think that. Yeah, they do. Me thinks they think too much. Yeah, me too. Okay, so, yeah, you guys want to talk to the living Messiah? You want to know what it was like to be talked to someone like Jesus and Muhammad and Haile Selassie in the 21st century? Or would you rather have the CIA train you into some lady who's going to get her breast ripped off of her body by body repair mechanics they call doctors? All right? A healer is someone who teaches people not to abuse themselves and others through selfishness. And then they stop doing that. And then their bodies are healthy until they're old and they pass away from quote unquote natural causes. And right now, you guys are all full of fucking unnatural causes you call natural. All right, peace.